When I open up Instagram, what do I see? Now, for a lot of teens, they'll probably see something like a group of friends in glittery prom dresses on $1,000 yachts. Or for other teens, it's people in bikinis or weight loss workout videos, pictures of Michelin star restaurant meals. For a lot of people, seeing these things won't faze them. But for someone who is struggling with finding friends, their body, their finances, social media can be very harmful. My relationship with social media has always been shaky. I downloaded Instagram when I was in seventh grade and soon other apps as well. And I learned that to have social capital and to, be accepted by my friends, I needed to constantly be posting and on the platforms. Really, I had to be addicted. And what made social media harmful for me was that it exacerbated my insecurities and the challenges that I was already facing. When I was 12 years old, I lost my dad to suicide. And shortly after he passed away, the pandemic began. And so I ended up spending a lot of time on social media, searching for something, scrolling, spending hours, wasting my life away on these platforms. And I struggled with feelings of isolation at this time. Overall, I felt really sad and alone. And when I was struggling with my own family situation, it really sucked to see everyone showing off their perfect families and perfect lives. And now looking back, I realized that in many ways, there are so many people out there struggling as well. So, really, by spending all this time on social media, I was spending less time with friends, with meaningful relationships that I already had. And I had no one to talk to about what I was struggling with. I did not know or could not find anyone my age who shared a similar experience of suicide loss. And everyone on social media, at school, seemed to have these perfect lives. Really, I've come to realize that my isolation and feelings of sadness were ultimately due to a lack of peer support in my community. And this was largely caused by all this time I was spending on social media. And it is why I'm here to speak with you all today about the importance of rethinking the way teens interact with mental health and social media, and how we can use social media as a tool for better forms of peer support. Starting in around 1995, the CDC with Kaiser Permanente embarked on a 25-year quest called the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, or ACEs, to better understand the effects of childhood adversity. For the study, they surveyed 17,000 participants across 25 states to understand what ACEs they have faced and their current health status and behaviors. Now, ACEs can include anything from experienced violence at home, neglect, abuse, or having a parent with mental illness or substance dependence. What they found was that two-thirds of people across the US have experienced at least one type of ACE by the time they're 18, and nearly 1 in 6 will have experienced 4 or more types of ACEs. But what's even more shocking is that as your ACE score increases, so does your risk of disease and social emotional problems. People who have experienced 4 or more adverse childhood experiences are nearly 4 times more likely to develop chronic lung cancer, nearly 5 times more likely to develop depression, and are 10 times more likely to die by suicide. The study demonstrates how the hardship that we face can shape our entire lives, from our physical well being to our political ideologies. And so, when it comes to addressing the growing rates of depression, suicide, and school shootings, we need to look at the starting point of this issue. And that means we need to think about youth. in what youth are doing today. Now, social media, coupled with the recent COVID-19 pandemic, has resulted in a fully fledged crisis of youth mental illness. A decrease in face-to-face interaction and more time spent online has created an environment of stress, anxiety, and fear that has triggered or worsened a lot of adolescent mental health issues. Now, there's been a lot of studies that have recently shown that 1 in 3 high school students have faced a mental health challenge during the pandemic, and suicide attempts for teenage girls, for example, have increased by nearly 50% nationwide. So, how do we address this? Right now, almost all therapy group interventions are designed for adults, not children. And in almost all communities across the US, you'll have a very hard time finding a support group if you're a person under 18 years old. Furthermore, we're experiencing a shortage of, therapists and clinicians right now. And so, although not everyone in our world is a therapist, everyone in our world can be a peer and a friend. In order to address the issue of loneliness that is manifesting as a mental health crisis for youth, we need to ensure that no teen feels alone in the challenges that they face. That means ensuring that every kid can have a person that they feel comfortable talking to about the challenges that they may face at home or the mental health challenges that they're currently experiencing. For the majority of kids, that person is not the school counselor or any sort of adult figure. Usually it's someone their age or finding someone to talk to from school. But the thing is, the way students interact with each other at school can be very surface level. You know, from my experience, the way I see kids interacting today is, we're at school for 6 hours and then 6 hours at home, then sleep. We walk by people in the hall, sit with people at lunch for 30 minutes, talk about sports, gossip about random things that are going on, but we never really see the other half of our identities, and that is the side of us that we are, or the side of us when we're at home and when we're not on social media or at school. So, where do kids who are suffering from some sort of challenge at home go? Where do they go to talk to someone with a similar experience and get that form of peer support? Now, while we talked about social media previously as one of the biggest contributors to this mental health crisis, there may actually be potential to use social media as a tool to address the same issue that it's causing. Because this is where social media can come in. When we're thinking about peer support, we're trying to connect teens to other teens who are facing similar experiences. And so that's where using technology and using a platform like Space, we can actually facilitate these kinds of connections. Over the last year, I have developed a platform called Also, and it's the first teen to teen peer support app that rethinks the concept of social media. It uses machine learning to help kids who are facing loss or adversity find friends and feel heard. And the platform is really all about helping teens finally have a friend to talk to who just gets it. The platform basically matches youth ages 14 to 18 with a buddy in their community who shares a firsthand experience of the challenges they face at home. And the algorithm facilitates these pairs by looking at the specific experience that the teen has faced, whether that be parental divorce, chronic illness, financial hardship, etc., as well as factors like identity around their age, gender, and interest, and then of course location, where they're located. So these matches can occur within communities. Since being launched in early 2023, the platform has already begun matching teens around California. And these teens have been able to establish a meaningful friendship with someone who has gone through a similar life experience and have someone to talk to when things are tough. By using also, these teens have avoided the potential negative influence of many anonymous online forums or other types of social media that encourages teens to trauma dump or only share positives or only share negatives. Also really ensures that users are matched with a relatable friend and reassuring that they are not alone in whatever struggles or challenges they're facing. Now, really, the reason behind building also was to help communities across the US build affordable, accessible peer support platforms and solutions that can work with teens in schools and in broader communities. I really hope that, communities around the world can implement a version of youth to youth peer support like also and offer this as a free resource for students and teens. Whether it's in the form of in-person peer matching or building a wellness room at schools or connecting teens quite literally on social media apps like Instagram or TikTok. Peer support is the future of mental health support for youth. So again, social media may seem like the root of all evil for youth mental illness. And in many ways, in what a lot of researchers are saying, that might be true. But the thing is, social media is not going to go away anytime soon. And so we have to think about better ways to utilize it and to utilize it as a tool and as a resource to help teens. Social media, after all, was created to enhance human connection and connect Bob, who lives in the US, with Sue, who lives in Switzerland. It has the potential to do good. And so while we do need to tackle the current issues with a lot of these platforms, we should also seek to build more sustainable and healthier ways of utilizing similar tools. Together, if we think about peer support and we think about social media, and if we find a way to meld those two together, we can start to see changes in the way youth are interacting today. And we can prevent suicide, we can prevent this increase in mental illness, and we can help teens all around the world feel less alone. Thank you.